Today's BeatBlogging.org screencast is about Twitter. This is not a beginner video. We'll be doing that in the future. Rather, I wanted to show you how I go about using Twitter for my daily activities. Now, this video may be good enough for many of you to delve right into Twitter without having a beginner video, but this will show you how I use Twitter, how I use Twitter search, how I use Twitter API programs like TweetDeck. And this video will go over how I go about using Twitter to help me report. Now that we're signed in, this is what I'm looking at currently. There is the what are you doing box, and I usually use the what are you doing box to report on what I'm doing, to go about crowdsourcing. Right now I just told people that I'm working on the Twitter screencast, what the screencast is about. That's going to get some people interested in the screencast itself, but it's also going to get people to send me suggestions and tips, perhaps on something that they would like to see in the screencast. I also really want to show you really quickly my profile, and I think this is important even in a non-beginner video, to make this perfectly clear that before you ever go about using Twitter for reporting purposes, you must have a filled out profile. And if you're a reporter, use your real name, link to your real website, and have a bio. Otherwise, if you go about posting content or tweeting to people, they're not going to know who you are. They're going to have no reason to follow you. So if you want to get people to follow you and you want to have your content have impact on Twitter, you have to make sure you go in there and fill out this bio. This should be the first thing you do. Well before you go about tweeting, well before you go about adding followers or following people, you should make sure you fill out your bio. After you fill out your bio, then I would recommend making some good representative tweets about what you want to do in the future using Twitter, and then start following people. You never want to follow people unless people really know what they're going, unless you have a bio, and unless people know why they'd want to follow you back. Because if you just go out there and start following people without doing these steps first, people are not going to follow you back. Now that we got past that, I want to show you TweetDeck, which is really a very core part of what I do. TweetDeck is a Twitter API program. You will not find it at twitter.com home, but I will show you where you can find it, and I'm going to show you why I use TweetDeck. Now we've navigated over to the TweetDeck page. TweetDeck is one of the many Twitter desktop clients that you can download. This one is available for both Macs and Windows. I really like TweetDeck for several reasons. The biggest reason why is the user interface itself that allows you to do multiple columns at once. But this is the page itself. I would recommend downloading TweetDeck or another application like Twirl, because using these desktop clients tends to be a little bit better of an experience for Twitter power users and people really trying to use Twitter for reporting purposes. If you scroll down, you'll find the Install Now button. I'm going to go ahead and open up TweetDeck, and I'm going to show you really why I like to use this in my daily tasks. I've opened up my TweetDeck account. This time I have signed in as Miss Beat, and I actually primarily use the Miss Beat BeatBlogging account in TweetDeck, while I primarily use my jiconoclast account in the Twitter web interface. One of the real reasons I love the TweetDeck user interface, and this is kind of a cut down version so I could show you on the screen. You can actually have more than 3 columns. I normally have 4 columns open, but I cut out the direct message column for the purposes of this video. And the big reason I love it is it breaks everything down into this column view, which makes everything really easy to see. Over here I get all my friends' tweets in, and I'm just following people in the BeatBlogging account that are either journalists using social media or people talking about social media and social media tools and web tools. And so I get this great feed here of people posting about what they're working on, new tools they've discovered, new ways they've discovered to go about using social media or other tools. And so that's really helpful. And a lot of times I find BeatBlogging story ideas through this feed over here just by monitoring it. I have 2 monitors open at all times, and one monitor just has TweetDeck open, so I'm always constantly monitoring what's going on in this column. I also really like having the ability to have a separate replies column so that I can monitor the @replies. This is especially helpful when I'm doing crowdsourcing. If I was to go on there later today and ask people about their live blogging experiences, for example, I would get a lot of responses, and it's really great to be able to separate those responses out over here and keep them separate, so that will really help me work on that story. The last thing I really like about TweetDeck is the ability to have a dedicated search column. In this column, you can put any kind of search term you want. You just go over here to the search button, and you could type in, for instance, I could type in live blogging, and every time live blogging was mentioned in real time, Twitter would update for me. And I can navigate over here, and we can see this column. White House live blogging, any thoughts on how soon Indian politicians start doing this? And there will be a bunch of tweets about live blogging. But what I primarily like to have it open for every day is every time somebody mentions beat blogging. I really want to know about any time somebody is going about beat blogging training in the newsroom, their thoughts on beat blogging, any new practices they've learned about beat blogging. I've made sure to put beat blogging in quotes. This means that it's only searching for beat blogging together. Otherwise, if you do what I just did with the live blogging, it will search for both live and blogging. This can be extremely helpful. Let's say there was a car crash. You could type in car crash in the city, and you get all the streams coming up from that search term. Let's say South by Southwest is next month, and there will be a pound sign SXSW, and so you can go into the search up here, type in SXSW, and boom, you'll be able to monitor what people are saying about South by Southwest in real time. And already people are starting to talk about it. And so that makes it a really powerful tool for beat reporters. If you're using Twitter to monitor a certain beat, you could always have certain search terms open and just be monitoring what happens in real time. If you were a reporter doing breaking news and breaking news happens, you could just type in a search term and watch as it streams in real time. For instance, during the recent Hudson River plane crash, you could have typed in any number of search terms and seen people's responses in real time. You might even seen some of the people who were actually live on the scene tweeting and posting photos in real time. So TweetDeck is a really important tool for what I do. It makes me more efficient, and it's really great to allow me. It's a really great reporting tool because I'm able to monitor what people are saying, and I'm also able to monitor search terms, which are really important for what I do at BeatBlogging. Now I've navigated over to search.twitter.com. It was formerly known as Smizer, and it hasn't been integrated that well into the Twitter web client. But it's a very powerful tool. It does many of the same things I just showed you in TweetDeck, but it has even more powerful tools to it. It's a tool for searching terms and hashtags. You'll see the hashtags quite frequently on Twitter, like this. This one would be for South by Southwest, and that helps you track a particular event or topic. But I want to go ahead and do the same exact beat blogging search that we just saw before. And do it instead in search.twitter.com and show you what happens. Here up will pop a results page in real time, and it'll be updated, and you can keep updating it. But one of the really great things about search.twitter.com that TweetDeck and some other programs cannot do is it can spit out a feed for you. And so I can take this feed, I can go up to the address bar, and I can copy and paste it, and all of a sudden now I can put this into my feed reader, and every day in my Google Reader or whatever RSS program I choose to use, I will get updates on every time the term beat blogging is mentioned, every time the term crowdsourcing is mentioned, every time any other term that I choose to follow was mentioned. I will get that updated. So I don't even have to come to search.twitter.com anymore. I don't even have to even use TweetDeck. So it's a very powerful tool. The other really great thing about Smizer, let's go back to this page. You see over here in the right column, you will see the most popular trending topics of the time, and this can be a great tool for journalists to find topics that are very popular. If you were a TV or entertainment reporter, you might notice that Dateline was a very popular trending topic right now. Click on it, and you'll be able to see what people are saying in real time about Dateline. And I would strongly recommend for anybody working at Dateline to do the Dateline search and then subscribe to it with the over here for the feed for this query. Search.Twitter is an incredibly powerful tool. You have to go to search.twitter separately from twitter.com. There is no logical way to get to search.twitter.com from the Twitter web client. It's because search.twitter.com was actually a separate company from Twitter, and Twitter purchased them, and so the integration isn't that tight yet, but in the future it will become tighter and tighter, which will be great. But for now, it's still an incredibly powerful tool. This concludes our Twitter BeatBlogging.org screencast. In the future, we'll have some more screencasts on Twitter. Some of them will be more focused on beginner topics, and we'll show you how to go about signing up, creating a profile, and really getting people interested in following your account. And so we'll also go over tweet topics. We'll also do more advanced videos in the future, but for now, this video hopefully helps you understand how Twitter can be a powerful reporting tool.